Good day, viewers. Welcome to Cascade Transformatics Ltd, transforming you. On this platform, we train on leadership. And so far, we've been talking about different topics on leadership. Today, we are going to continue from where we stopped, and that is on Module 6, Leadership Theories. Leadership Theories. And the first question I will ask is, what are leadership theories? Leadership theories are schools of thoughts brought forward to explain how and why certain individuals become leaders. The theories emphasize the traits and behaviors that individuals can adopt to boost their own leadership abilities. Early study on the psychology of leadership pointed to the fact that leadership skills are inherent abilities that people are born with. It was not until recently that formal leadership theories emerged, despite leadership becoming a concept of interest at the beginning of time. Leadership at a glance. Let me just say a little about leadership before we continue. A leader is crucial to the success of everything. Take an example of an orchestra, for instance, now. One that consists of all the best musicians in the world, but lack a conductor. Even though every member of the orchestra can play perfectly by themselves, they will only produce an incompatible melody in the absence of a conductor. The same concept applies to communities, companies, and countries. Without a leader, nothing will ever run smoothly. So, what makes leaders who they are? Why are some people elected as managers and presidents, while the rest remain followers? Leadership theories were developed to find answers to these questions. Now that will take us to what I call key leadership theories. On your screen, you can see about 5 leadership theory there. We have great man theory, trait theory, contingency theory, situational theory, and behavioral theory. So we'll be talking about each of this theory and what they believe. The first one is great man theory. According to the great man theory, which should perhaps be called the great person theory, he believes that it is believed that leaders are born with just the right traits and abilities for leading, charisma, intellect, confidence, communication skills, and social skills. The next theory is the trait theory, which is very similar to the great man theory. It is founded on the characteristics of different leaders, both the successful and the unsuccessful ones. The theory is used to predict effective leadership. Usually, the identified characteristics are compared to those of potential leaders to determine their likelihood of leading effectively. Scholars researching the trait theory try to identify leadership characteristics from different perspectives. They focus on the psychological attributes, such as appearance, height, weight, demographics such as age, education, and family background, including intelligence, which encompasses decisiveness, judgment, and knowledge. That is the trait theory for you. The next one is contingency theory. The contingency theory emphasizes different variables in a specific setting that determines the style of leadership best suited for the said situation. It is founded on the principle that no one leadership style is applicable to all situations. Renowned leadership researcher Hodgson and White believe that the best form of leadership is one that finds the perfect balance between behaviors, needs, and context. Good leaders not only possess the right qualities, but they are also able to evaluate the needs of their followers and the situation at hand. In summary, the contingency theory suggests that great leadership is a combination of many key variables. That is the belief of contingency theory. So let's move to situational theory now. We've talked about the first, which is great man. We've talked about the threats theory, contingency theory. So the next one now is situational theory. The situational theory is similar to the contingency theory, as it also proposes that no one leadership style supersedes others. Also, its name suggests the theory implies that leadership depends on the situation at hand. Put simply, leaders should always correspond their leadership to the respective situation by assessing certain variables, such as the type of task, nature of followers, and more. As proposed by US Professor Paul Hesson and leadership guru Ken Blackhand, the situational theory blends two key elements: that's leadership styles and the followers' maturity levels. Leadership styles and the followers' maturity levels. Hesson and Blackhand classified maturity into 4 different degrees. The first one, team members do not possess the motivation or tactical skills to complete necessary job. Team members are willing and ambitious to achieve something, but they lack the necessary ability. That's the second one. The third one, team members possess the skills and capacity to accomplish, but they are not willing to take accountability. The fourth one, team members possess all the right talents and are motivated to complete projects. So these 4, this is what Hesson and Blackhand classified. That's their own classification based on maturity. According to situational theory, a leader exercises a particular form of leadership based on the maturity level of his or her team. That is the belief. That is the belief on situational theory. So the last theory is behavioral theory. And in behavioral theory, the focus is on the specific behaviors and actions of leaders rather than their traits or characteristics. The theory suggests that effective leadership is the result of many learned skills: technical, human, and conceptual skills. Technical skills refer to a leader's knowledge of the process or technique. Human skills means that one is able to interact with other individuals, while conceptual skill enable the leader to come up with ideas for running the organization or society smoothly. These are the 5 different types of theory that we have. Don't forget, we talked, let me start from the last. We talked about behavioral. We talked about situational. We talked about contingency, traits, and great man theory. So now how can this theory be applicable? How can you apply this theory at your workplace? The application of this theory at your workplace. To a great extent, leadership theories have helped form and shape the kind of governance that exists today. Many aspects of these theories can be applied to help one improve his or her leadership skills. How to apply it? 1, maximize your strengths. That is one way of applying or application of this leadership theory at your workplace. Now, as proposed by the traits theory, effective leadership depends on the traits that one possesses. Leaders should strive to focus on their strengths rather than their weaknesses. The strengths vary from one leader to another and may include a strong will, which is crucial to staying resilient and seeing leaders through difficult times, no matter how challenging the situation may be. A strong-willed leader is able to find inner strength and carry on until he or she overcomes all challenges. That is 1. Secondly, a decisive nature is another strength that some leaders possess. Decisiveness means that when others may be perplexed, discouraged, a leader can calmly assess the situation and choose one action to unite everyone. But since they are not always making the right decisions, they must also be willing to learn from their mistakes. That is it. So that is under maximizing your strengths. The second one is be an inclusive leader. Some of the most complex situational theories emphasize focusing on people. It means that they acknowledge individual people to be their greatest assets and not just mere numbers in their workforce. Being an inclusive leader requires that one constantly involves other people in their leadership, whether it is by always welcoming the feedback of others or delegating more responsibility to others than other forms of leadership. So these are the 2 ways these theories can be applied at your workplace. Now, to summarize all that has been said, there are numerous ways of defining leadership. Some leadership theories attempt to explain what differentiates a leader, while some explain how great leaders come to be. The great man leader, for example, recommends leaders to adopt a leadership style depending on the situation at hand, while the behavioral theory is all about the learning, the skills necessary to become a good leader. Leadership theories don't only exist in history. They are concepts with actionable advice that can be adopted by many, from executive managers to community leaders and government officials. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions or contribution, you can just drop it on the chat box, or you can send an email to us at info@cascadetransformatics.ltd.com. Thank you. Waiting for your questions and contribution. Okay. In the absence of questions and contribution, this is where we're going to stop for today. And I'll be expecting to see you next week, where we're going to deliberate on another topic, which is leadership styles. Next week, on the 25th of August, 2020, by 3 p.m. Thank you very much. To have a lovely day. Goodbye.